Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, the crypto markets are green today. There are a couple things that you should keep in mind, which I will talk about later on in the video. It includes things like what's going on with Japan, an update with the US-Iran war while I'm recording the video. And then also we'll be talking about a rumored news that would be huge for Ripple. And we'll also look at Bitcoin's price. So let's go ahead and get started with Bitcoin's price. We have the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index now sitting at 20. It is still in the extreme fear territory, but we're up just a little bit. Yesterday, we were sitting at 18. So it's starting to get closer towards the fear territory, which, yes, it's still fearful. People are still on edge. And let's go ahead and see what's going on with the price movement. So here we go. We've got 2 days of candle closure. They are in the green. But this is very important. We actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 days of closure, all above the key Fibonacci retracement zone, sitting there at $63,250. So we did have a crossover take place of a couple different technical indicators. That was yesterday, which then is suggesting an entry point of a long position. And lo and behold, here we are 1 day afterwards, which is not a lot of time to reference. But 1 day afterwards, it did start to rise up even more. So far, that long indicator is proving itself to be quite reliable. We do also have that indicator back on May 13th, which was suggesting the short entry. And as you guys can see, if somebody did short that right there, boom, there was a lot of room that took place. And that happened for quite a while until it started to go sideways a bit, started to climb a little bit, suggesting potentially a long point entry position. Do keep in mind that these technical indicators are not 100%. It's just showing that there's a crossover of different technical indicators, all suggest, well, not all, several of them suggesting to go on the upside. The Bollinger Band is still quite wide as well. Volume itself the last 2 days pretty lackluster, but it was a weekend. Here we are new on the weekday. Already the volume for the day is bigger than that of yesterday. As we are right now, I would suspect we could potentially be working towards volume comparable to that of June 11th or June 10th. If anything really explosive happens, then yeah, we might see some other large candles, but so far it seems to be pretty steady. Nothing out the gates just super wild. A lot of eyes again are keeping them on what's going on with Japan. And so Bitcoin itself still looking pretty nice, up 1.37% on the day. It is now seeing a bounce right on that median line of the Bollinger Band at 66, actually about $67,000. And we still have that support at 63,250. If it breaks above this, keep an eye on around 70,000, 75K as we work towards that next retracement zone. Okay, so here we go. Breaking. Japan is expected to raise interest rates to 1% tomorrow. That's at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, a level not seen in over 30 years. Prediction markets are now pricing the move at a 99% probability. Every rate hike since 2024 in Japan has been followed by a 20% or more than 20% dump in Bitcoin. So right now, although we are seeing the crypto price climb, this very well could be a fake out, making everyone think, oh, it's okay. And they start to buy in at this point, and then boom, everything instantly drops. So be very, very cautious with this. To elaborate on this more, Japan has triggered 4 market sell-offs since 2024. Tomorrow could be the 5th. That's June 16th. The Bank of Japan announces its rate decision. 49 of 51 economists surveyed by Bloomberg expect a hike from 0.75% to 1%. So there's only 2 of these economists that did not expect this. Market probability is above 90%. If confirmed, it marks the first time Japan's benchmark rate has hit 1% since 1995, ending 3 decades of ultra cheap money that funded one of the largest carry trades in financial history. So let's go back March 2024. Bank of Japan moved from 0% to 0.1%. First Japanese rate hike in 17 years. End of the negative interest rate era in place since 2016. The move was small and well telegraphed. Carry trade flinched but didn't fully unwind. S&P dropped 3.79% over 31 days and then recovered. And then you got July 2024. Bank of Japan moved to 0.25%. The hike landed the same week U.S. jobs data missed badly, hitting markets from two directions at once. The yen surged 14% against the dollar. The NASDAQ dropped 13% in under a month. The Nike posted its worst single day loss since Black Monday in 1987. The VIX spiked to 65. Years of carry trade positions were caught completely off guard. Forced selling hit stocks, crypto, and commodities simultaneously. S&P fell 7.02% in 5 days. And then we go to January 2025. Bank of Japan moved 2.5%. Three shocks landed simultaneously: the hike, the DeepSeek AI model that wiped hundreds of billions from US tech valuations overnight, and Trump's tariff rollout raising the threat of a global trade war. Carry trade positions that survived July 2024 were forced out over weeks. S&P fell 20.98% over 73 days. A full technical bear market. The recovery that followed took it to an all-time high above 7,620. Then December 2025. We're almost in 2026. Bank of Japan moved to 0.75%. The Iran war was escalating and oil prices were climbing. S&P fell 7.07% over 101 days. Recovered, hit a new all-time high of 7,620. Now look what is already happening before tomorrow's hike has landed. On June 5th, the NASDAQ fell 4.18%, its biggest single-day drop since the tariff crash of April 2025. The S&P dropped 2.64% in the same session. Treasury yields spiked on a stronger than expected jobs report. Bitcoin dropped below $60,000, its lowest level since October 2024. The following week saw $14.7 billion in new short positions built, the largest weekly short build of the year. The S&P is already down from 7,620 to 7,431. The correction started before Japan even moved. And this time, the backdrop is the most hostile of the entire cycle. The April FOMC produced an 8-4 dissent vote, the most divided Fed committee since 1992. The Fed dot plot releases June 17th, the day after the Bank of Japan, and is expected to signal rate hikes, not cuts. Markets are already pricing a 57% probability of one Fed hike in 2026. In every prior correction this cycle, the Fed was either cutting or on pause. That backstop does not exist now. The Iran war is keeping oil elevated. The ECB raised rates for the first time since 2023. The BOJ itself has signaled rates could reach 1.75% by 2027, meaning that in the next 6 months. The carry trade math gets worse with every hike. The positions that remain are under more pressure than at any prior point in this cycle. 4 times this was a buying opportunity. The 21% crash in early 2025 became one of the strongest recoveries this market has seen, but every one of those recoveries had more policy support underneath it than what exists this week. The hike lands tomorrow. The Fed follows on Wednesday. Absolutely wild. Now, continuing on, rumors surface that Singapore's $800 billion DBS Bank is launching tokenized gold on the XRP ledger. Now, guys, a lot of people are saying that the countries are moving away from being backed on the US dollar and starting to look towards gold once again. Well, guess what? Here we go. Crypto coming into play, XRP ledger, where you got bank, you have the DBS Bank potentially with tokenized gold on the XRP ledger. That is huge. XRP is set to emerge as the biggest winner as Japan moves to treat crypto like stocks. XRP adds $3.42 billion to its market cap. That took place in just 15 minutes. There was a massive pump initially with the stock market where we had $1 trillion added, and that was because there was an agreed upon US-Iran peace deal, but that is now on shaky grounds because Israel had a trigger finger and Iran's not happy with that. So there's still some debate on whether or not that's even going to move forward with that peace deal between the United States and Iran at this point. And there's a crypto exchange called BTCC. If you guys have not heard of this, it has been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250x leverage. There's no VPN or KYC required to get started. You can get a 10% deposit bonus. That's if you deposit over $500 USDT. And that can go all the way up to $10,055. for those bonuses. So if you want to check this out, or if you want to get started, you can find my referral link down in the description below. And let's go and take a look at what's going on with XRP's price, because it is booming. It is looking absolutely beautiful, sitting at $1.24.5. It's actually getting closer to $1.25. And we do have just a little bit of a wick on the bottom here, not much though, but the low on the day sitting at $1.17. So right now it's actually up 5% on the day, looking very, very good. 2 daily candle closures yesterday. The Bollinger Band actually starting to constrict a little bit, starting to do that convergence. And we're sitting above on the VWAP on the daily, so this is still a good sign. It's a nice explosive growth. The volume is significantly more than what we have seen here in more recent time. It's more than what we even had back on June 8th, June 7th, back on June 6th. But right now, it may even surpass what happened on June 5th. So the volume candle is looking really good. The actual candle itself for price movement also looking really good. And it does have a lot of wiggle room to climb back up. Now, I do want to go ahead and mention you got to go all the way back to mid-November of 2025 when the XRP ETFs first launched in the United States. I still have that marker point, and that was at $2.46. So it has a significant amount of wiggle room just to try and get back to that price, because for a long time people have been very bullish that the ETFs would be, well, bullish for XRP. And so the market itself was not doing good just in general at that time. It was kind of bad timing, and then dropped down, tried to reclaim it back on January 6th or so, and then got rejected, dropped down, consolidated for a while, fell down. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a rise, but it's about half the way back to that ETF position. And that's what I got for you guys. Nice little indicator here just popped up on the day suggesting an entry of a long position, but I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. And that's what I got. Thank you guys. You can check me out on Patreon. I'm Crypto Atlas there. Or if you'd like to show your support, you can become a YouTube member. God bless, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.